Love this man right here. Michael Irvin going to be with me tonight on TNF Game Day every single Sunday game day morning. Good to see you, Irv.
Great game tonight. Yeah.
You believe that?
Yeah, I said that.
But in all seriousness, DeMarco Murray is running the ball as well as anybody else.
Right. Okay, and we'll stay on that side. Now, I'm going to tell you something, too, that we don't give enough love to.
Let's do it.
Delaney Walker is one of the baddest tight ends in this league. I don't know why everybody was not going crazy about trying to get this kid. This kid's a phenomenal talent. And we don't give him enough credit because he's hidden in Tennessee.
Well, I mean, I think with Tennessee this year, they have done well and can get to 500 tonight with a home win over a team they should beat. And obviously in this division, that's right there in the mix. So Tennessee is performing in a manner that I think that we can. Jacksonville is a whole other story.
Tennessee's on this kind of climb. People in Tennessee want them to be on this kind of a climb.
Yeah, they want to see the
Jacksonville's on that kind of a decline.
What's happened?
I don't even. That's a great question. I mean, and it's everything that's happening. I mean, they're behind early in games, and now they're limited in what they can do. It's just amazing where Jacksonville is. I was expecting, and I got to call in Allen, because I was expecting Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns, because I expect those guys to take another leap this year. A lot of people were expecting them to take a leap, and they're just not doing it. And they got talent, Rich. They have talent on both sides of the football, offensively and defensively. They have talent. It's just not coming together.
So that normally falls on the shoulders of the coach, right? And you're hearing Shad Khan is in meetings, right?
Whenever the boss sits in the meetings, that's not a good thing. He's a billionaire. He has a lot of things that he needs to worry about. And when he comes and sit down on your watch, that is not a good thing. He wants to see what's going on and why it's not translating on the football field. So, yeah, it'd be interesting. It'd be an interesting watch.
Does Jerry Jones ever go into an actual meeting, though, Irv? Did you ever see that?
Yeah, but when Jerry came in, he was all smiles and happy. We were dropping rings on him. You know what I mean? We were dropping rings on him. He was coming into meetings. Hey, things were good. He'd come in and smile a little bit. Hey. And he'd get on out of there. You know what I mean? It was never one of those.
Mm-hmm.
They're right. When they do that right there,
just head nod.
Yeah, right.
Silently staring.
You're on your way.
But so he doesn't do that nowadays, though. From what you're hearing, he doesn't, because everybody believes that whatever's going to go down, and we'll talk about this at length. Shortly in our Honda Insider segment. Yeah. But everybody believes that whatever happens with Dak and Romo, it's not Garrett's decision. It's not Garrett's decision at all. It's really the owner's decision.
I think. Like they always do, and it has to be there because you don't expect a billionaire not to make decisions. The only thing you do, the most important thing you need to make decisions are information. So information. Everybody gets together, and you have to hear what Coach Garrett has to say. He has to hear what they say. But ultimately, I think they all will make this decision. But it is a huge decision that will be made. Even now, you're hearing the things about. Man, this matchup Sunday night is about. This is the new Peyton Manning, Tom Brady matchup.
Yeah, Jordan Matthews was asked about it. He says Wentz Prescott could become the next great quarterback rivalry like Brady Manning.
Now wait a minute. Now, what do you think Romo's sitting home saying? Well, wait a minute here. It's an amazing because now Romo's in the way of that great matchup. You know how much we enjoyed the Peyton Manning battles. Mm-hmm. I mean, oh my God, that would be great if it could materialize to become something like that. Great play by both quarterbacks and everybody intent on watching those games and those markets and everything. So it would be mind-boggling.
What did you think of the Sunday night game this past week, 6-6, with that defensive
Everybody's
battle?
all over that game. I love that game,
I did
Rich.
too.
So thank you, Rich. I love that game.
I loved it too.
I did too, man. And because it was a battle of will. The only disappointment for me is that in the league, we have ties. I'm like, we got to keep playing until there's a winner.
Would players be for that? Would they go for it?
Yes. When they interviewed Bobby Wagner afterwards, he was exhausted and what's her name?
Michelle Tafoya.
Michelle Tafoya did a great job. She did a great job in the interview, and he was like, I really wish we could keep playing. She was like, aren't you guys exhausted? She was almost like, I'm exhausted watching you be exhausted. Aren't you exhausted? He was like, yeah, But I want an end to there. I want a definite end, and that's what it becomes, a battle of will, collective will. That's ultimately what you use to win championships. Is my collective will better than your collective will? And I wanted to see who capitulated first.
Michael Irvin here on the Rich Eisen Show. But if the NFL made a rule that there'll be no more ties, we're going to keep playing till this all goes down, then the player's safety whistle would get blown somewhere, wouldn't it? I mean, that how can you possibly send these guys out there in week 7, week 8 of a long 17-week slog that winds up, we all know, if
college
they're
does
lucky
it though,
enough.
and they don't get paid.
We say that, Rich, as if just by playing a little longer or playing extra quarter is going to. You get hurt in the first quarter, you get hurt in the second quarter, you get hurt in the third. It's inherent. It's a dangerous game. You got opportunities to be hurt, but I want to find out a victor. I want a victor in each game.
Well, college does, as you point out, Law. They do it, but college doesn't have the full 100 yards.
True.
You know, they remove special teams essentially from the game.
Well, let's do that on the second go round. After those 15 minutes, let's start them at the 25-yard line and see who scores the most. You get a touchdown, you get a field goal, you win. Now, if both teams get a touchdown, let's move it back to the 35-yard line. And see, and by the fourth one, whoever penetrated the deepest is who wins.
Nice.
Or let's go the other way around, that you go closer in. You start from the 25 if it's a tie.
Go to 15.
And then for the 15-yarder, you remove the field goal from it. No field goal. Let's keep.
Now you got 4 downs to get in the end zone. I'm cool with that.
And then if somehow there's a tie, then it's from the 5-yard line, and we really find out who's got it.
Let's figure it out.
What about that?
Kind of like that.
Are you in that idea?
I'm kind of into that idea.
Rich, you were on Dan's earlier, and he mentioned give it to the field goal kickers and have them kick.
Yeah, that is
Irv, would you accept that as a player if it just came down to kick from the 35, both make, both kick from the 40? Both make. Now it goes to a 45
I need
yarder.
a victory. I need somebody to be victorious in this. Now I would accept it ultimately in about the 5th overtime. I'm ready in about the 5th overtime to say, you get your fastest guy, get my fast guy, let's race in a 40. But I just wanted to be a physical something, and I needed to be somebody having a victory in this game. I loved that game the other night, man. And for other reasons that we'll talk about when we talk Cowboys and Eagles too, because I'm watching and saying, wow, these are two of the top teams in the NFC. It was a fascinating game to watch.
Well, Michael Irvin's here in the show, on the Rich Eisen Show studio. So let's take that 60-second break. We'll come back and we will talk about that Sunday night football game, Dallas versus Philadelphia. Eric Davis was sitting in that seat yesterday, had a very interesting take on why he thinks Romo should be the quarterback. Period. End of story.
Oh, ED?
Yes, he did. That's next here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Some of that for me. Now, what y'all think of your Lakers without COVID?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Michael Irvin right here on the Rich Eisen Show. How about the Lakers without COVID? Game 1, huh?
Yeah, they were like, hey, Kobe deserved everything he got last year, but we were glad to get his butt on out of here. Basically what I heard, and now they're ready to do their thing.
They did their thing.
Yes.
With Luke Walton.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Durant and that first Warriors game?
I can't believe that, man. But, you open up with good old Pop down there, and you come messing around.
I was talking about it yesterday, Michael Irvin, here on the Rich Eisen Show, that it's time to maybe start calling Belichick the Popovich of the NFL.
Right. I've been saying that.
I don't think there's any disrespect in saying that.
I've been saying that forever, man. There are just certain people, man, God almighty. You got to sit back and just marvel at how great they do what they do. And Pop's one of them, man. I love watching this dude. And he don't care. You can bring in what you're bringing in. You can go get super teams and all that. I'm going to stick to the basics. We're going to run the simple things. And we're going to beat you. That's just the bottom line.
Let's get to today's Honda Insider Report. Michael Irvin helping us out with that. It's sponsored by the all-new 2017 Honda Ridgeline. Again, not only is this truck innovative, it is a beautiful – look at that thing, Irv. I mean, look at that beautiful truck that's right there. You would love this because you could drive it on any terrain you want, and then that dual-action tailgate at the back, you have the ultimate tailgate. You could plug in a TV. You could have the in-bed truck audio system. You start blasting whatever you want.
I mean,
you're all in.
That is a nice one.
You should, go to your local Honda dealer today to test drive the Ridgeline. Okay,
there's a lot of things in that truck. The the older pickup, she couldn't get it all in. But you get a lot of things in that one with that extra bed line right there, that extra cab right there. I like that one right there. Why y'all laugh like you knew where I was going with that?
we know the source. Irv. We've been around.
We've been around you.
I'm saying what every other man is thinking.
Well, that's not the type of insider information we were hoping to glean from this report, but we'll take whatever we can. So here's what Eric Davis had to say yesterday when I said about Romo and Prescott, this conversation that's been going on for weeks now and will build to a crescendo when Romo is cleared for practice, which is yet to happen. Here's what Eric Davis had to say.
I like Dak, and you've heard me say Dak is going to be their quarterback down the road. But there are so many things he's leaving on the table. There are so many things.
What are you talking about?
Rich, I can sit you down with
Please.
the film, and I'll sit down with you and watch film, and you will see plays on there where you could have gotten a first down, you could have gotten a touchdown, and he won't throw the ball. There are times he's looking at open receivers and he'll pull it down and he'll take off running. They give him really simple reads, and if it's, you can tell, okay, well, we got a bunch here. One of these guys in the bunch are going to be open. If it's not open, he doesn't know what to do. Even when his backside read is wide open for a 20-yard gain, he won't throw it because that's not what he did at practice. He's a young quarterback, and I think you can take advantage of that. That's why I keep saying they will be better off with Tony Romo running that offense. You have more options. He can only do so much. He is still a rookie, and he misses a lot.
That's Eric Davis yesterday. A lot of head nods out of you while you're listening.
And Eric's telling the truth in some regards, but also is not a thing, I think, that we say, let's notch Dak down a little. I think that's what he's saying is why you notch him up, because of that shiny toy. That shiny toy, that's what gets so many rookies in trouble. Oh, man, the big play was there. God, I should have tried it. And you try it too often, and then you get in trouble. It's the shiny toy syndrome. He's smart enough to say, hey, let me do the Tom Brady. Let me play the game. Let me move down the field, until you come up. And then I grab my shiny toy. You see, it's more difficult to be steady and simple and move methodically down the field than it is to try to take those big shots. And that's why we see the fewer mistakes being made by him, because he's being more methodical than taking the big shots. So Eric's telling the truth, but I don't see how that's a diminishing return for Dak Prescott.
Well, here's where the diminishing return was, to complete the full conversation that I had with Eric, Michael, is that he says a defense like Philadelphia's this weekend,
right,
or a defense like the one that we will see in person on Thursday Night Football on December 1st when the Cowboys visit Minnesota.
Right.
Those defenses will force him to have to grab for that shiny toy, and he might not be equipped to do that when he has to do it. Instead of just saying, I'll be the Tom Brady, I'll try and not make the mistake. And that is a type of night that will get him into trouble, as opposed to being aggressive and trying to beat somebody.
Did you not see his last drive right before the half in Green Bay?
Eric said
grabbed the shiny toys.
He did.
They were there, and it was the time of the game that you have to grab it, because he only had a few seconds, so he had to go down the field with it, and he went down the field. When great defenses are playing, when you're playing great defenses, when you're playing the Fletcher Cox and the Zim Reapers, I love that. I love that. The Zim Reapers.
For Vikings.
Great, right? What are you worried about? You're getting rid of that football before it's time. So now his play becomes perfect against great defenses, because I'm going to wear out that great defensive line by playing the inside game. That's what Tom Brady does. That's the brilliance of a Tom Brady. He gets rid of that ball in 2.1 seconds, even though we always talk about his offensive line is in shambles. It doesn't matter. I got a fat guy sitting in front of a fat guy only for 2 seconds. I can get this ball off with Tom Brady, and Dak Prescott plays a lot like that.
And in that Green Bay game, he broke Tom Brady's record for most consecutive interceptionless attempts to start a career, not only breaking Brady's record, but making a bold prediction happen in a very weak-ass manner for somebody who might be sitting right here on the Rich Eisen Show set right now.
I was trying to marry them up together.
Oh, boy.
And that's what it was. That's what I was doing. 6th-rounder, 4th-rounder. Smart guys coming in.
But what you are saying right now, are you advocating for Dak to stick with the job? Is that what you're saying right now?
I was saying all along that we go back to Tony, but I said this, and I said that Green Bay game, this Philadelphia game, these are games that will make you change your mind if you come out on top in these games, especially back to that game Sunday night. After seeing those two teams, which are top teams in the NFC, and then watching Philadelphia beat Minnesota, which is a top team in the NFC. Now, you go back and beat Philadelphia, hey, man, it's hard for me to sit that down. It's hard for me to sit that down because these are the teams that you're going to go see, again, going to the Super Bowl.
But Eric Davis's point of view is that these are the teams that you're going to need to have someone at the controls who goes and gets the plays that are not left on the table, that are on the table and need to be gotten. And he says Prescott is not that quarterback.
And what Eric also just failed to mention a little bit of it, he's doing that without the go-getter outside. He's been doing it without the go-getter outside. I'm going to take more risk when I got someone that wins 75% of the 50-50 balls in Dez Bryant. Okay? He's been doing it with Bryce Butler and Cole Beasley. That's their skill set. You know what I mean? The inside skill set. I just think he's fascinating, man. It's just and he's handling it all so well. There's a lot going on right now with Dak Prescott, and he's handling it just so mature and so great.
And what we're also, this conversation overshadows is what Ezekiel Elliott is doing right now. Is there any Emmett that you see in him right now? Do you see the young Emmett and what he's doing right now?
Yeah, for what he means to the Cowboys, yes. Now, but I'm tell you something. I see some Earl Campbell, a little bit of that Earl Campbell kind of stuff. I mean, this dude want to jump over you, run through you, outrun you. You remember Earl Campbell used to do that because I was a big Dolphin fan growing up.
Oh, sure.
Man, I mean, the Dolphins would rip off his whole jersey, and he's still just carrying the whole team right on down the field. Like, man, I love that dude. He wasn't playing for my team, but I loved him anyway. I was like, I see some of that in Zeke, man. And every time he's talking that offensive line up and down, all he talks about is, we're going to be physical. We're going to be physical.
Oh, you love that.
I do love that.
That's talking your language.
I love being physical. You can't, Rich. There's nothing for physical. There's nothing you can do. Scheme on scheme, I can come up with a scheme to beat you in this scheme. There's nothing you can do but physical. You just got to take it. And that's what I love.
Yeah, he's always doing that. Feed me.
Feed
symbol.
me.
Yeah.
Feed me. He is a beast. I just keep feeding him. And you know, it was funny. In Dallas, right? Because I do a radio show there. And they were saying, week one, oh, man. You think we should go to Alfred Morris? I said, shut up. People, what is wrong with you people?
Right.
After week one, when he didn't go off, I was like, shut up. This thing is going to be great. Give it time to materialize.
In the minute I have with you left here, we were talking about the World Series and Kyle Schwarber having a blown out knee, not having any at-bats since the first week, coming back and taking at-bats in the World Series and performing well. And we're trying to come up with an analogy in some other sport. We came up with T.O. coming back with that surgically repaired ankle in the Super Bowl against New England. And then a caller called in and said Rod Woodson blew out his knee in '95 and then came back in the Super Bowl and played against you in that game. What were your recollections of Rod playing in that game?
It was I'm telling you, I thought there's no way he would play in this game. And I made that comment that week because I had already gone through an ACL. It took me 2 years to come back off that ACL. And I had gone through a serious deep depression coming off of it. And I was like, no way. And I was really saying it like, no way he's that much better than me, that he can come back and have the time and play in this Super Bowl. But he did. And I'll never forget one play, I was running a fire route on him, and I thought, he'll get out of there. There's no way he has his gates ready. And I took off out the gate coming, and he never broke. He opened up, and then he came back, and he knocked down that ball. And then he started pointing at that knee. Like, I was like, okay. I couldn't do anything but nod at him like, okay, that's good right there, buddy. Like, that was good right there for real. Because, that same situation almost made me blow my own brains out, man. That knee coming back from that knee is serious, buddy. It's serious.
Well, that's why you and he are in the same bus room in Canton, Ohio. I got to get you back up the road because I can't. I don't want to hear from the producers when I get up there later on today that you kept Irv too long. I'll see you later. All good. I'll see you later tonight.
All right, buddy.
Michael Irvin will be there on NFL Network tonight with me and Marshall back from the UK and Mooch.
Marshall.
prior to before.
Out on us last week.
He did. Well, he's Mr. Ram, Mr. UK. He was there last week, but now he's back with us tonight at 6 Eastern time on NFL Network.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.